What's up, YouTube? Tax the Leader here, coach of the Montreal Canadiancies, back with my Week 12 game of the PUL versus the Hungry Bidoof. This is a divisional rematch. This is the final week of the PUL, and we are looking for some sweet revenge versus Bidoof, because he kinda made scheduling a little difficult last time we played. He's a great guy. He was in my little drawing quiz video thing, but I didn't have a ton of time to prep for him, and thus he was able to kinda toss us on our necks with a combination of a sticky web Smeargle and Mimikyu. But this time I have put in the work, and I think we have the team that can beat him. Looking at the playoff picture this week, if I can defeat Bidoof, we will be tied in record, and so I have a chance to make playoffs, but we're gonna have to get into that more at the end of the game, because that's an interesting situation. As usual, shoutouts to the people who mocked me for this game, being N-Solarizer, Psychedelic Scissor, and Troy. Since we played, Bidoof has not made any transactions to his team, so he still has the Mewtwo Y Mega, the Minior, the Kartana, which is a Z user, the Mimikyu, the Yan Mega, the Kyurem, the Rotom Wash, the Nidoqueen, the Smeargle, the Speed Boost Blaziken, the Malamar, and the Blissey. I'm sure I missed one of those somewhere, but that is his team, and let's go over ours. So first up, we have the Venusaur, Sleep and Powder, HP Fire, Sludge Bomb, and Synthesis. A whole lot of physical defense investment into this Venusaur because it's designed to be our designated check to any kind of Mimikyu. Even with a +2 never-ending nightmare or something, this thing is not going to be able to take us out. We have Sleep Powder, Hidden Power Fire, Sludge Bomb, and Synthesis. Synthesis is a nice recovery move to get ourselves some HP back. Sludge Bomb hits everything on his team that wants to switch in, or Sludge Bomb is just nice general stab that hits the Mimikyu. Hidden Power Fire is for the Kartana, and Sleep Powder is to catch unwanted switch-ins such as Blaziken, such as Nidoqueen, that kind of thing. Next up, we've got our Cryogonal with Water Pulse, Defog, Freeze Dry, and Recover. This was a really nice sort of Spadef tank that could take pretty much any special hit from Bidoof's team and hit back decently hard. We have the Lumberry with Defog in order to check any kind of lead Smeargle. So if he nuzzles or if he spores on the first turn, I'm going to be faster for one thing, and I can hit it with a Freeze Dry, which will bring it down to its sash. And then if he sticky webs, I defog. I can 2-hit KO him, and then he won't have webs on the field and he won't have anything status. So a lead Smeargle is completely shut down by this set. I have Freeze Dry to hit the majority of his team, and then Water Pulse to catch that Blaziken, which I think is a likely switch-in. Next, we've got the... oh, I don't know if I said the Speed on Cryo is for Mimikyu. Next up, we've got Zygarde. Choice banded this week: Extreme Speed, 1000 Arrows, Superpower, and Glare. Originally, I had a Choice Scarf Lycanroc, but that wasn't doing the job, revenge killing the things I needed to. So I decided that a banded Extreme Speed will do similar damage. We'll be able to take out things like a weakened Blaziken that has a bunch of speed boosts, or a weakened Mewtwo, something like that. 1000 Arrows is pretty much unresisted versus his team. Superpower is for the Kartana, and Glare is to catch switch-ins such as potentially the Kartana, maybe the the Mewtwo, I guess, if it wants to switch in. Like, I didn't really have any other move I wanted on this Zygarde, and Toxic didn't look that appealing because he doesn't really have any walls aside from that Rotom, I guess, but it doesn't want to take 1,000 arrows. Anyway, next up we've got the Necrozma Dusk main, back with, in my opinion, its most reliable set, for at least from what I've seen during the league. We have Hidden Power Fire, Sunsteel Strike, Photon Geyser, Autotomize, Weakness, Policy. I reach the same speed stat as Venusaur, outspeeding an uninvested Rotom, and I have enough bulk to take any super effective hit from the Mewtwo, proccing my Weakness Policy. I also, with this speed investment, outspeed Mewtwo at +2 speed, so that's really nice. Photon Geyser and Sunsteel Strike are unresisted versus his whole team except that Kartana, which is why I have a Hidden Power Fire. Even without any special attack investment at +2, this thing kills like 3 or 4 Kartanas or something. I don't know what the calc is exactly, but it's more than enough to take out that thing. Next we have a physically defensive Clefable. This thing is designed to take on the Blaziken with Stealth Rock, Moonblast, Moonlight, and Counter. Blaziken is capable of 2-hit KOing me with a Flare Blitz or something, and that's why I have Counter, to always be able to surprise that thing. Stealth Rock is nice for his mons, such as the Yanmega, such as the Minior, such as the Kyurem, and he doesn't have the greatest ways of removing them. He's got Kartana, Rotom, and Blaziken as his defoggers. Rotom is a good defogger. Blaziken and Kartana, not so much, especially versus my team. They want those move slots for coverage for attacking power. And I have Unaware in case Blaziken SDs up. It's also, this Clefable is also here to check a Malamar that potentially wants to sweep with Superpower or like a Trick Room kind of set late game. With Clefable, it cannot do that. And last but not least, we've got the Choice Scarf, Darkrai, Dark Pulse, Trick, Psychic, and Nasty Plot. Dark Pulse hits his whole team. It can OHKO a Kartana with the Modest Nature. I don't even need super effective coverage for that. Trick is to catch Blissey, Psychic for Blaziken, and that's really all the moves I need, so I just have to put Nasty Plot on this thing in case I ever get knocked off and I want to set up versus the Blissey, for example. So that's my team that I'm hoping can take on the TheHungryBidoof and his crazy Kermit Club, and let's hop right into the battle. Alright guys, here we are with the game. You can see he brought the Mewtwo, the Mimikyu, the Kartana, the Blaziken, the Yanmega, and the Kyurem. All stuff that I was kind of expecting. Mimikyu will probably be standard SD, Mewtwo 4 attacks, maybe Recover, maybe Calm Mind. The Kartana could be Scarfed or SD, 3 attacks. Blaziken will most likely be either Protect 3 attacks or Protect Swords Dance 2 attacks. Yanmega I'm actually expecting to be like a physically defensive HP Ice set to check Zygarde. And Kyurem, I don't really know what Kyurem's gonna do. I didn't really expect Kyurem because I have the Clef. I had ways of taking this on, so I'm kind of confused to see this thing. But anyway, we're gonna lead off with Clef to potentially get rocks up right away. But as you can see, he's going to lead off with Mewtwo, and because I need Clef to check Blaziken, I don't want to take any damage right away, so I have to make a really aggressive read and go hard Darkrai right here, and that works out for me. I take the Psy Strike, no problem, and now I can outspeed and threaten this thing with a Dark Pulse. But because of the way I brought this in, I want him to know that I'm Scarfed. So I'm going to go for the Psychic, hoping to catch the Blaziken. Thankfully, this works out. He goes into Mimikyu, and I break its disguise, which is really nice. Makes Venusaur's job a lot easier later on, and now I can go right into the Venusaur, Mega up, and throw off a Sleep Powder just to make sure nothing can switch in for free. Except the Mewtwo, I forgot this thing got Insomnia, so that miss didn't matter at all. Now I'm forced out, and I have to go into my, I think it's going to be Zygarde just to sack this off. But now what I can do is take any one hit from this Kartana and take it out with a superpower. So that worked out really nicely for me. I'm not entirely sure why he went into Kartana right there. But now is when I can sack the Zygarde to the Mewtwo, bring Darkrai back in, and just click Dark Pulse, get a huge amount of damage off on this thing. I'm going to live an Aura Sphere and be able to attack again. But knowing him, he's going to switch out because he knows I'm Scarf at this point. I'm going to go into Clef to catch the Blaziken. Here I Moonlight just to see what he wants to go for. And now I'm going to click the counter, but he pulls the switch into the Yanmega, potentially expecting my Zygarde, which I understand. And here I'm going to go into Cryogonal because it's my best special sponge this game. As he protects, that fails, he gets the speed boost and he has no reason to switch in here. And he goes into Blaziken as I predict that correctly and catch him with the Water Pulse and get the confusion. Now, just in case he wants to protect or set up or anything, I'm going to go for another Water Pulse, try to bite this thing down. As he brings in Kyurem, and it's going to start subbing, roosting, all of that stuff. And I'm just going to leave Cryogonal in here, hoping he gets impatient, because I can sit in front of this thing for a while, but I forget about pressure. So I'm going to start running out of freeze dries and recovers real quick, and I realize I'm not going to be able to win this stall war. So this is going to take me a little while to notice. I'm going to keep on freeze drying, recovering as he subs. I'm going to start going for Water Pulses in case he wasn't counting. Now I'm going to try to bait out the Tectonic Rage because he seems to be talking about, he's hinting at stuff like that in the chat, but he doesn't go for it. I bring up the Necrozma, take an Ice Beam, and then I'm going to go right back into Cryogonal, and he doesn't go for the Tectonic Rage. As you can see here, he charges up that Z move bluff, and yeah, we're just right back into Cryogonal until I decide to that I can get in Clef right here, set up the Stealth Rock to pressure that Yanmega, weaken the Blaziken, the Kyurem next time it comes in, the Mewtwo, all of that stuff. And now I can just break his sub with a Moonblast, but he goes into Yanmega and it just drops to a Moonblast, which makes sense because my Zygarde is down, so he was probably just sacking it because he didn't need it anymore. Now Blaziken's going to come out, and I don't need to click counter or anything. He's in range of a Moonblast, so I'm just going to go for that and take out the Blaziken. And now that Blaziken's gone, I don't need this Clef anymore, so I can sack it as he goes Mewtwo, and I can take any one hit except the Psy Strike and take it out with the Moonblast, but he doesn't even go for the Star Strike, he just goes for the Ice Beam, so I can take out this Mewtwo. There you go. Now, Mimikyu is going to come in, and this is the freest Venusaur of my life yet again, as I'm able to just take this thing down with a couple of Sludge Bombs. And now Kyurem's going to come back in. I still don't know what its Z move is, and I'm really fearing that Tectonic Rage. I need to have this thing healthier in order to take on, not healthier, I basically need to find out what its Z move is in order for Necrozma to take it out in the end. So this is going to last a little while as eventually Bidoof is finally going to get impatient and go for, I don't know if you saw that. He's going to click the Devastating Drake right here, taking out my Cryogonal, and in comes the Necrozma. I'm going to break this thing, sub with the Sunsteel Strike, and then I realize he can just keep on subbing indefinitely, and he has more subs than I have Sunsteel Strikes, so what I have to do is autotomize on one of these turns. I think I do it now, that's right. So now I can break his sub with a Photon Geyser, as he's just going to sub again. I break it, he roosts on this turn, and yeah, as soon as he didn't go for a sub, the game was over because I can take this thing out with a Sunsteel Strike. So, we're going to be able to defeat the Hungry Bidoof, and if you read the chat right here, I think I'm going to playoffs in the PUL, but I found out later that I needed a 5-0 win in order to tie Bidoof's differential, and then it would come down to divisional wins, which I have more of than he does. So even though we tied in record, he has more differential than I do, meaning that he advances to playoffs and I do not. I don't really know if I could have played or prepped differently had I known that, but I guess it was my own fault just not paying attention to the standings or anything. I don't know if I could have been told. It's not really the commissioner's job to do that, to tell people what they need. If I'd asked, I'm sure he would have told me, but I didn't really ask. Or if I did, someone said I need to just win, rather than winning by a specific differential. With the team I brought, I don't think I could have pulled out the 5-0 win. Maybe I could have gone into Clef instead of Cryogonal before I brought in the Krozma in these last few turns versus the Kyurem. I could have calced, I guess. Realized that it can't kill me. If it was, depending on the set, I didn't actually end up doing that. So, that's an option. But, yeah, this is the last video that you're going to see for the Season 2 of the PUL. Again, maybe I'll do some kind of, like, post-season thoughts breakdown, what I think of Ubers in League format, how I felt about all my Mons. You might see that, but you're not going to see any more games. And, like, I don't even know if I could have pulled out the 5-0 had I known in advance, had I prepped differently. So, like, that's all hindsight. That's really hard to say, so I'm not that salty or anything. I've got other stuff coming up, as you're going to see, for the channel, so I don't totally mind the season being over. But yeah, that's gonna be my season. So, please make sure to retweet, leave a like, and maybe even subscribe. But until next time, that's it from me. Later, guys.